World Cup 1974, Tom, in Germany. Scotland qualified, and you were a big part of the qualifying to get there. The Czechoslovakia game sticks out with everybody. Did you feel in Germany, I think you only played come on twice as a sub, did you feel you were underutilised?
Again, we're going back to the SFA. The home internationals before the World Cup, we played Wales at Hampden, and I got a stud in my shin, and I needed a couple of stitches, which I'd already had it done before at Coventry, but I was back out again in 10 minutes. And the wee Celtic doctor, who was absolutely useless. Honestly, you wouldn't let him run a bath for you. And this is going back to even to Wally, that nowadays he wouldn't have been allowed to touch a tablet or anything that was medical without a physio knowing it. And again, the onus was then put on the players. Again, I never saw him again about my leg. It went septic. I missed the England game, and I think we beat England we beat them 2-0, and of course I think Peter Lorimer played, and I never got in for the next game, and I found it harder then to get back in the side, and that's why when we went to the World Cup, I think we played Norway and Belgium, I think, in 2 warm-up games, but when we got to the World Cup, I could remember training in Frankfurt, and I played the ball up to. You always knew, well, the lads will tell you, you always knew what the team was going to be, more or less. When you had a little game at the end, it was the possibles and the probables, and you knew if you were in or not. And we were training that day, and it was a game, and I played the ball up to Denisov, who knew he wasn't playing either. That was for the Zaire game. And I played the ball up, and it wasn't a good ball, but Dennis gave it and again, Dennis was my hero. And I says, oh, you don't have to move, like, you're Dennis Law. He says, what are you on about? And so I says, after the game, I says to him, well, we're coming on, he'd come over to me, and he says, look, what are you getting all excited about? I says, because if I don't play well in here, I've got less chance of getting, which I'd always thought, I think the lads are the same, you always think that if you do well in training, your gaffer will see you and you'll get picked. And that was purely, but there was certain players that were in the team that knew they were going to be in the team come what may, so it was a waste of time, the training matches, because they knew they were playing. And that's why, when it come to that, I fell out with them. I didn't fall out with him, but he come over and he says, I'd be as well gone home, because there was we got banned by talking to the press, because I think, if you remember, little Jimmy was in a bit of bother in the boat. and he wasn't playing, he was on the bench. And you look at him, you're thinking, you know what, why would, and Dennis, I says, you might as well go home. But Willie Morgan had spoke to the press, and Willie had never been in any of the games, any of the build-ups, and it was more or less, if you don't pick me, I'll be coming home. And then all of a sudden the team gets read out, and Willie Morgan's, wait a minute, where does he come from? And he go play, and I says to the I'd be as well going home. And that was one of the things that stuck in me as well. I says, do you realise how many people back home would like to swap places with you now? And you're thinking about going home. So he forgot about the game bit of thing, and that was just washed over. But when it come to the actual games, we did play very well. Didn't score enough goals against Zaire, and again, Zaire was a team that went to swap shirts up and on. They only had the one shirt. They had to use them for all the games. And then the second game we played Brazil, which there was about 5 minutes to go, and it was still. But little Jimmy Johnson, he says, Wally Orman says to him, Jimmy, get warmed up. You can fuck off. I'm not going on there because they had Revelino and Jorginho, they were flying. Although on the night, we should have beat them on that night. I think Billy missed a chance late on. He shinned it, or we could have won it. And they didn't want to play us again because Zaire were going to go home because they got hammered 7 or something. They were going to go home, and we would have had to play Brazil again, and there was too many. We were too aggressive for them on the night, and then it come to the last game, which was against Yugoslavia, which we had to actually win, and we were a bit unlucky, but overall, as we said, it's you just take your chances. I was lucky enough to get picked when I first started my career with Scotland. I missed a penalty against Spain and never played again. And I went back up with Man City, with Coventry, to play a tournament in Edinburgh against Hibs, Hearts and Man City, strangely enough. And I went to it with Barry Powell and we were warming up. Now this is I'll be 8 years after I was finished with Scotland. And we're warming up and they're shouting to the side, "Show us your penalty kicks!" And Powell says, "Surely they've not remembered for that." Sure, I says, "Hey, they don't forget up here. They don't let you off the hook one little bit." So really, I was lucky and unlucky with Scotland. The hardest thing is getting in the squad, and again, there was a lot of old heads in the team, which I didn't really get on with very well. Billy was one of them, and purely because I felt that everything had to be done through him. You know, the manager wasn't strong enough, definitely. And I think that it still goes down in history, the best World Cup team because they never lost again.
Tommy, that's certainly from my era, because I remember that when we became the first team to get knocked to the World Cup and then we'll lose again. Right? And in reality, that team could have won the World Cup, and so could the 78 team if it hadn't been for Wally. Sorry, Wally.
I think the other thing it was very political with being an Anglo and playing in England, because I know that a lot of the lads hated at Hampden if they got beat, they would stone the bus, and there would always be the Anglos that got the blame for it. And I couldn't imagine it being the other way around, because I think it was against Zaire. I came on for Kenny Dalglish, but he was playing in the next game. Now, if that had been me coming off, there's no way that I would have been playing in the next game. But because Kenny was playing with Celtic, he was with Celtic at the time, they were always going to have the homegrown, which I felt was a bit unfair.
Wow. One more question, guys, and then I've got to go at the auction because we need to raise money for the meeting. One more question to all the guys. What do you think of VAR? It's to all you guys, the VAR.
Derek Marlene thought it was good.
What did he? What did you think?
King.
What do you think of the and it's no a bottle of red wine? No, listen, just to tell you, I need to tell you a story about what happened way back in Israel. We were out playing a friendly in Israel.
Hey, Alfie, you just go on with the
So
story.
anyway, we've decided to have a day out. we've ended up,
He was playing with Israel.
decided to have a day out, so we've ended up in the Hilton Hotel in Tel Aviv. You remember?
Yes.
So anyway, we're all sitting, having a drink and what have you. And I don't know if you remember, they used to have the boys that used to walk about the hotel, telephone call for so and so and telephone call for this one, bellboy or something. So anyway, this one comes round, telephone call for Morris Levante. Is that right, bud?
Morris Levante.
Morris Levante. So there's nobody answered, the boys still walking about. So wee Willie Henderson goes, Mr. Levante, yes, telephone call for you. So he takes them through into this place where the phone is, and there's a young lady at the other end, Morris. And wee Willie's went, aye, what can I do for you then? So anyway, just put the phone down, the wee Willie's come back to the table, and the waiters, he shouted on the waiter to come and take a drinks order. Mr. Levante, would you like to pay cash or do you want it on your room bill? Wee Willie says, give your fucking pen. I sat there for about 2 or 3 hours, sitting in Morris Levante's hotel room. So anyway, after we leave the hotel, the Hilton, we go back to where we're staying, and all of a sudden we're ducking the oranges. These oranges is coming from everywhere. So we're having to duck and dive out the road of them. Who do you think it was? Steenie was sitting up in the tree with the oranges thrown up. Anyway,
As one does.
VAR.
I don't like it. I think it's, well, it's, well, VAR is obviously Hutchie being a winger, Bud being a winger, and you play into positions, and the line, you're offside, and the linesman does do no hand, does he put that, his flag up till they get contact. What happens if somebody tackles somebody and somebody breaks a leg or something like that? Is that no wrong? Right, right or wrong? I think if you're offside, you put the flag up right away and it'll save, and because somebody will get injured.
Just say I don't like it, but it's going to come in, so if it helps the referees, that's fair enough. It helps the football, fair enough, but
I don't think it helps the referees. I think it lets them off the hook. They don't have to make the decision because they say, well, the cameras will pick it up. I think the good thing was that with the goal line decision, that's good. It's black and white, it's like the same as the tennis. It's in or it's out, that's good. But to be offside because of your foot or your toes over the line, that's just, for me, that's not. And again, in fact, if I was watching a game, when a goal goes in, you're still thinking, but is it a goal? You know? And you can see the players, they don't want to celebrate because the VAR's having a look at it. And then they go to the sidelines and look at it. No, I think it's just too much. With the goal line one, perfect. With offside one, again, going back to the old days when if you were offside, you were offside. Simple as that, whether the ball's getting played to you or not. And if the ref, I can remember, I think it was Coffey that said it, you know, he wasn't interfering with play. He says, if he's not interfering with play, what is he doing on the pitch? You know? Because that was the one thing you were taught, especially as a winger, is to look along the line, make sure you're on side. Because even if it's on the other side, but now, you could be offside and you're not interfering. And you could not be interfering and then end up scoring a goal. So the defenders don't actually learn to defend properly because the VAR could rule it out. So I think the goal line one, it's black and white and that's it, but the lines and again, the people that are actually looking at it, why is it not ex-managers and ex-coaches that are doing it, ex-players that are you know, they know when you, like with penalty kicks especially, they know if you're going to get kicked and if they aren't getting kicked. So I think that side of it's a bit two-phased.